Hello, I'm Tony Cordato,
And I'm Peter Kukulis.
and we're here to talk about property. Well, we're talking about pre-approvals. You must have a pre-approval before you go house hunting, not the other way around.
Yes. And as Tony said, the key word here is before. Okay. Now, over my 26 years experience in finance, I see this very often. In fact, I had a customer call me today without getting a pre-approval in place, say, Peter, I found a property.
Good.
I've put an offer on. I said, fantastic, excellent. Which bank's going to give you the money?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you come in. I said, yes, but a bank can take some time. So the real estate, they're to sell you the property.
They want you to sign
They
up
want to
straight away.
sign it straight away.
Absolutely. And
It just doesn't work.
This is the issue.
Yeah.
In some states, Queensland, Western Australia, and often in Victoria, the contract will say subject to finance.
Yes.
And it'll normally be 21 days
Yes.
for you to get a loan approval.
Yeah.
And normally you're only putting down a very small amount of deposit, 1,000, 2,000, something like
Yes.
that. So in those states, if you have a subject to finance contract, it's okay.
It's okay.
Well, it's not
No,
okay, but like you can get out of the problem.
But you're losing that holding deposit at the $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah, you might still lose that, but
Yeah.
but at least you have 21 days to find finance.
Yes.
But that's a pretty hopeless way of approaching buying a property, isn't it?
Come on.
That is not the case in New South Wales.
No, in New South Wales, not the
They
case.
hate subject to finance in New South Wales. Well, the people that hate it are the real estate agents because they want to know that there's a deal, done deal, not a subject to finance deal, and the vendor, because the vendor may want to know I've got an unconditional contract for sale, so I can buy my next property.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the issue. You can't have a contract that may be being terminated and you go into another property.
That's right. Yeah. They want that certainty.
They want that certainty.
Yeah. And also when it comes to the pre-approval, if you go and buy a property and you put a holding deposit subject to finance, and let's say you're putting your holding deposit down, and we go to the bank and there might be something on your credit file,
That's
a default, and the bank goes, sorry, we can't lend you. You've lost the money. Or you might go to an auction and put down a 5 or 10% deposit, and then you can't get the loan. The bank goes, hey, you've got a default, you've got a problem, and so forth. You've lost that 5 or 10% deposit. However, if we flip the coin the other side and you go to a bank or to a broker and we sit down and say, okay, let's get the pre-approval from the bank.
Yeah.
It lasts for 3 months,
Yeah.
and then you go find the property.
Yeah.
Then we go through that process. That's the more logical way. I get clients coming in, like this morning, I had the same customer that I was talking earlier, found a property, goes, I need a loan. I said, okay,
Good. Of course you need that.
but we need documents, we need the whole process, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
She goes, I said, what's the time frame that the real estate gave you? Oh, 10 days cooling off period. So how are we going to do in 10 days when the bank's turnaround times are 11 days, for example?
And that's just to process the loan.
That's the
Then
process.
they have to get a valuer out
Correct.
to value it.
That takes time as well to value the
It
property.
may take a week for a valuation.
Yeah.
Like,
So the whole process is
10
just
day cooling off in New South Wales sounds long. Well, it's actually 14 days because it's 10 business days. It sounds like a long time, but it's not.
not. It is not. Yeah, trust me, it is not, because if we order a valuation, the valuer picks up the file, he's going to go out there, and it depends if he's got access to the property.
That's right.
They might say, oh, sorry, the tenants are unavailable for 2 weeks.
That's right. They've gone on holidays.
They're on holidays. There goes your 10 days or 14 days. So getting the pre-approval in place is very critical, for credit, for your credit report, for the banks. And once we get a pre-approval in place, go. House hunting.
And also, you know how much you can borrow
Correct.
and how much you can afford. I think that's a big issue.
Yes, yeah. And the other thing that I do with clients, it's not about, oh, let's get you the maximum, because one bank might give you, $1 million, and another bank might give you 700,000.
Yeah.
So that's okay. You go, clients go, I want $1 million. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, let's talk about the repayments. Your repayments are this. Can you afford it? Oh, I don't think I can afford it. It's a bit too steep. Okay, so then we can't go for $1 million loan. So there's so many variables. You know, we need to sit down and have a discussion first. Get the loan pre-approved. Make sure you're comfortable with the repayments.
That's right.
And what's the rental? If it's going to be an investment. So many
Yeah,
variables.
that's right. You
But
just-
the pre-approval is the most crucial thing. Get a pre-approval before you find a property. One other thing I want to say, once you've got a pre-approval, coming back to another video we did, we're talking about the 5 things, red flags, and one of the red flags was about multiple applications.
Yeah.
So the pre-approval lasts for 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you don't need to every 3 months go and reapply. Reapply. So if it takes you a year to find a property, there's no point of reapplying every 3 months and putting another credit inquiry on your profile. So we apply once, and if nothing changes, your job is still the same, the income's the same, or if you're earning more money, that's okay, it's better for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So then once you find a property, if it takes you 6 months, then we apply straight away. So
But you know that you've qualified.
you've qualified
once.
it. Yes.
That's the important thing.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing I want to talk about pre-approval is I can give anyone a pre-approval for $10 million subject to you servicing it. It means nothing. So a pre-approval doesn't mean anything unless the bank has actually done their checks.
That's right.
Make sure that they're happy to lend you the money.
Yeah.
They've done income verifications and everything. And they're saying, based on the client's information, we're happy to lend them this much money.
And subject to valuation.
Subject to valuation, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of subjects too. But there is online platforms that people go in, they put in the details and saying, you've been pre-approved.
Yeah.
And
Rubbish.
it's subject to
Rubbish.
rubbish.
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. It is rubbish. So making sure that you go to a broker, an experienced broker,
Exactly. Good point.
and making sure that they know and they educate you on the process.
And giving you a proper pre-approval.
Yes, a proper pre-approval.
No,
And do not go and find a property and get emotionally attached to it and then come to a broker saying,
it's all right.
help us out.
It's all right. I then have to get people out of all that. And we ask for extensions of cooling off period.
Yeah.
But no, we have to ask. And the other side may say, well, you might have to pay a little bit more money for this, or
And not only that, it adds more work for us.
Yeah, it does.
And we want to make things simple for our customers and ourselves. And not only that, if you're asking for extensions, it costs the customers money.
It does.
It costs you money on a day-to-day basis. And I have got a client at the moment that he bought an off-the-plan property, and he couldn't get finance with the bank, his own bank.
Yeah.
We had to go to another lender,
Yeah.
and his settlement was 3 days ago. We had to get an extension,
Yeah.
and every day it's costing him money.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. Even it might be $100 a day. Could be.
this one was more. It was closer to $200 a day. So $200 a day, and they've given us a deadline for 2 weeks. So not only is he paying $200 a day for 2 weeks, but if he doesn't meet that deadline, his loss is
loses 10% deposit.
10% deposit. So
It's savage.
yeah.
Okay.
Come back
that's
to you on
great
the next
talk.
topic. Bye for now.